We are about to embark on an immersive journey through the corridors of our minds. Stand by as we prepare for departure.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to the Productivity with Peace of Mind podcast adventure. Our journey will begin in just a moment. Inhale deeply and exhale. Our voyage takes us on a captivating tour, diving deep into the intricate layers of our thoughts and imagination. Brace yourselves for the complexities of our evolution. For a safe and enjoyable journey, stay seated, secure your helmet and protective goggles, and keep hands, feet, and legs inside while the ride is moving. Now relax and enjoy.
If you're feeling overwhelmed and you just clicked into this episode, you started listening to this podcast episode, and you're here with me, I want to start by just taking a moment. I don't need to flood your system any more than it already feels like it's carrying too much. I don't need to give you 12 things to do before we even get through the first 5 minutes. If you clicked on this, you're feeling overwhelmed, you need an actual system and a moment to slow down to get there, not more overwhelm. So before we start talking productivity and to-do lists and everything we need to get done, just notice for a moment where you are. Notice your body. Notice what's around you. Notice your breath. Inhale and your exhale, right? Just like the intro to this podcast, we always inhale and exhale. And you don't have to change anything, just notice. You might even do a little scan through your body, starting at the top of your head, moving down through your face, your jaw, your throat. What's going on? Your shoulders. What are you feeling? Your chest, stomach, your hips, legs, all the way down to your toes. What are you feeling? What's happening? What are the sensations? Are you holding on? Are you gripping? What are you feeling? Where in your body does it feel like it's ready for a race, ready for battle? And you don't need to force any of it away if it doesn't feel right or if it doesn't feel good. Just notice. And as you notice, you may become aware of a softening. Maybe not, but maybe you do. Maybe you intentionally unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, let your forehead relax, right? A lot of times we think our body is relaxed, but then our forehead is still tense. Let it go. Let the shoulders go. Let the stomach relax. Maybe take a breath that's a little bit slower. When we're overwhelmed, everything in front of us can start feeling like it's on fire right now and it needs us immediately. Every single task, responsibility, problem, ours or someone else's, everything everyone else needs from us, every decision, every unfinished thing, every idea you've had, every problem you haven't yet found a solution to. And then suddenly our brain is holding all of it at once, like this big bucket of wet sand off the beach in your pail that you're holding, and it's just too heavy, and you can't tackle anything because it's all packed in there together so tightly with the ocean water. And I know that can feel like a lot. Sometimes it even feels a little bit scary because you can't quite see the road ahead. You can't quite see how things are going to pan out, see where you're going to end up. But you're here. You're moving through it. And this moment right here, this chapter, this season, whatever it is that's so overwhelming right now, is going to move forward too. The one thing we can rely on is that time will always keep moving, ready or not. The day will move on, the week will move on. Life keeps moving forward. So, whatever it is you've been carrying, whatever season you're in, you will move through it. And today, I want to help you make some of it feel just maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit better, a little bit easier. And the tool I'm going to give you for this is incredibly, almost painfully simple. And you might have heard about it before, you may have done it before, you may already know how to do it. That's okay. Because knowing something and actually using it regularly and consistently when we need it are two very different things. Sometimes I need this reminder myself. And sometimes, too, the more simple a tool is, the more likely we stop using it because it seems so simple or so obvious, like, of course, and then our brain just bypasses it. So today we're talking about creating a master to-do list, a master list of priorities, reminders, things we need to remember and do and follow up on and complete and think about. And it's not like one magical list is just going to solve everything, but your brain on its own was not designed to just hold everything, like your calendar, your reminders, your projects, your groceries, your dentist appointments, your kids, your boss, your coworkers, your friends, your social life, your inbox, all at the same time. So we need somewhere for all of that to live. Otherwise, it just ends up like horses on a racetrack running circles and circles and circles over and over in your brain, and you never get a break, and you end up missing things because there's so much noise. And then you're just so exhausted and overwhelmed because they all keep running over and over and over in your mind. And the real problem with our overwhelm and feeling just exhausted by everything we have to keep track of and do and take care of isn't always how much we have to do. Because sometimes it is, right? Sometimes we do just have so much on our plate. We can acknowledge that when that happens. There are seasons where the amount you're carrying is actually a lot and maybe even too much. Professional work, business responsibilities, kid things, appointments, house projects, relationship stuff, money and finance stress, your health, whatever you're going through medically or mentally, your goals, things you're waiting on, things you need from other people, things other people need from you, right? Everyone's always calling and needing something. Admin minutia for life or business, regular life maintenance. It's all there just taking up so much space, weighing so heavy. And then somehow on top of all of it, somebody needs new shoes and the dog needs an appointment. And then you forget to return something back to Amazon. And there's an email sitting in your inbox from your boss that you've been meaning to answer for so many days. And you just realize it's still sitting there unresponded to. Sometimes there is just a lot going on. And there's another layer of overwhelm, I think, that gets missed a lot of the times. It's the fact that we're holding it all in our head. We're just letting it float around like those horses, running and running and running and taking up space, giving us no breathing room, giving us no clarity and clearness in the mind to actually think clearly or feel better while we get it all done. It just pops in and out, right? As it runs its laps and its circles. You're cooking dinner for the family and suddenly you're like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot to make the dentist appointment." You're driving to work and then you remember, oh no, I need to order that thing. I keep forgetting. Or you're sitting down to get your work done and then you think, oh, that email's still sitting there, right? You're trying to fall asleep and suddenly you remember something that you needed to do weeks ago. And because it doesn't live anywhere stable, and those daily things that come up are not getting tracked and written down, your brain just keeps resurfacing it, and your trust in yourself and in your systems goes down. And then we can sometimes make it mean, oh, I'm lazy. Oh, I'm not smart enough. I'm not organized enough. I'm so bad at follow through. I just need to be more disciplined, more motivated, more focused, more clear. When in reality, your brain might just be carrying too many open loops all at the same time. So, the very first thing we need to do is get it out of the mind and onto paper. So, the first step is getting everything out of your head, just wherever you are, like in life and in your progress right now, just getting it all on paper. And whether you do this right here, right now with me, and just get your pen and paper out right now as I'm talking and start writing things out, or as soon as you can after listening to this episode, I want you to grab that pen and paper and start your list. And you can totally use your phone or your computer if that works better for you. But I personally love just getting things down, writing it with my hand, getting it onto paper. There's just something different about seeing everything physically come out in front of you. And just brain dump all of it, everything. Don't organize, don't prioritize, don't ask questions, don't write notes about it yet. Just get it onto paper. Anything you've been thinking about, anything unfinished, pending, anything you need to remember, anything you've been avoiding, right? Sometimes we avoid what needs to be done. Capture it all. I mean everything. Work projects, emails you need to send, calls you need to make, appointments to schedule, appointments you've already scheduled. Anything for those you need to remember, things you need to buy or order, returns that need to be made, projects around the house, repairs that need to be done, bills, forms, paperwork, things your kids need, or your partner, your friends, or your family, or your boss. Anyone you need to respond to, trips to plan, ideas you don't want to forget, things you're waiting for someone else to finish or get to you, subscriptions you need to cancel, decisions you need to make, research you need to do, things you started and never finished, projects you keep vaguely saying, maybe I'm going to get to that, goals you care about, even the things that aren't technically tasks, but just keep taking up space in your brain and stressing you out. You might even be losing sleep over it. Maybe there's a big decision hanging over your head. Maybe you've been meaning to figure something out, get to the bottom of something, write it all down. And if you're someone who has trouble focusing, for this activity, you can totally set a timer like 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you think you'll need, and then just write for that timer and do nothing else. Otherwise, just get it all down, just sit down and write until you feel like you're done. And then when you're done, ask yourself, what else? Write down whatever comes up and ask it again. What else? There's always a few stragglers. What else? The obvious stuff comes out first. Asking what else brings out anything else underneath it. It can help you recognize some of the things that might have been taking up some of your bandwidth without you even realizing it's doing so. We're creating a landing pad for all those horses to circle back around and take a break, take a rest, give you a rest. And when you get to the end of your list, if it feels worse for a moment, that's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. You might look at it all and be like, oh boy, this is way more than I thought. I knew it was a lot, but this is a lot. That's okay. This is not your daily to-do list. Another mistake a lot of people make is they put their whole list on one huge piece of paper and then just work off of that every day with no organization, no prioritization, no intentional direction of how to do it the right way or the best way for you. So if it feels overwhelming when you get to the end of that list, stay with me. And if you're listening to this right now and you're driving or you're doing something where you're just listening kind of in the background and you can't actually sit down and make your list, save the link for this episode, throw it on your calendar, block yourself 30 minutes to an hour that you want to sit down and work on this. Copy and paste the link to this episode right into your calendar invite to yourself so you have time protected and set away for you to sit down, do the exercise, and re-listen to all the prompts so you can get through it super easily. So it's okay if it feels overwhelming when you look at the list as a whole, but the list is not creating a problem. Any problems that have shown up in the list were already there. You're just finally looking at it. And once we look at it, we can work on it. So just think about how heavy that was just floating around in your head all by itself, unsupervised. No, thank you. Now we get to decide what actually deserves your attention and gets to be prioritized. So because this list is not your daily to-do list, I know I already said it, but I need to say it again. The master list is not the daily to-do list. We cannot operate off some 70 plus item list and stare at all of that each day. We're just going to deplete our energy like having a hole in the boat. We don't want to do that. You'll want to burn the notebook and maybe burn everything else down on your way. This is a storage unit. This is headquarters. This is one place for all of it to land, not for you to operate out of every day. You go to the storage unit when you need overflow, extra products. You don't store that overflow right in your house or in your bathroom, creating all that clutter. This is where we hold everything. Your calendar or your planner or a daily to-do list is what will tell you each day what matters for that day. Two totally different ways to approach it, operating off the huge master list versus breaking that down, breaking that into your calendar, your planner, daily lists, and reminders of what needs to be done and what your priorities are. Everything on the master list holds different weight. It has different priorities. But if it's all in one big major list, it looks like it all has the same priority. So you just start checking it off in order or in some random order that actually makes no sense for you or your life. Calling the pharmacy to put in a refill, buying toothpaste, and planning a vacation and getting something done for your boss are all mixed in together, and it might not even make sense. So your master list is the holding pen for all of the main items, your main bucket. And then your calendar or planner, whatever you're using for daily organization and planning, is what will tell you what matters now. The whole point of the master list is actually to stop renegotiating every little thing about your whole life and what needs to be done every single day of your life. You shouldn't have to wake up every day and say, what was I supposed to do it again? Or what am I forgetting? Or what am I even working on today? What am I supposed to get done? Sifting through an entire storage unit because we've already made those decisions ahead of time. We've gone through the storage unit and we've pulled out what we need into the home just for the week, just for the day. We have our plan, we're set. And we've put everything where it needs to go so that it makes sense. So that's what we do next. After you've made the master list, we figure out where each thing actually needs to go. And it doesn't have to be some huge 4-hour organizational project. I'm trying to help you reduce the overwhelm, not create more. So start simply. Look at what might need a date, right? Appointments, deadlines, events, calls. Those are so easy because they can go right into your calendar. And as long as you're using your calendar and looking at your calendar and living out of it every day, whether it's a digital calendar, a planner, a to-do list, however you organize your life, every brain is different. Every brain works differently and responds differently to different tools. But those are so easy to set and forget when they have a date. So put them there, easy. And some things are so important that it might not have a date yet, but you might want to pick one because instead of just sitting there hoping that future you magically finds some chunk of time where you have nothing to do, right? That mythical creature of just spare time with tons of energy and nothing to do with no responsibilities and no one needs you. Instead of just hoping that appears, lock it down, find a time, commit to yourself. Then you can look at what needs a clearer action step. Some things are projects or ideas, like figuring out my insurance, looking for a new job, right? Reorganizing an entire room in the house. Some of them are not simple steps yet. You don't actually know. Your brain reading it doesn't know what it is you actually need to do next. They're whole projects that you wrote down. So, what's the very next thing you could do to physically move it forward? Maybe it's a phone call, send an email, look something up, ask somebody a question, buy a supply. Maybe you need to order a supply to even get started. Open a document, schedule the first appointment, create the spreadsheet. What's the first step? Because when we don't know, when we're not clear, it's so easy to procrastinate and put it off and cause more and more stress. And then look on your list for anything that can wait because some things just they matter, but they don't matter right now. Some things belong next week, next month, next quarter, maybe even later in the year, or maybe even next year. Hey, this is something I heard about. It's a cool goal. I really want to make it my focus next year, right? That can happen. So it's really good practice to get comfortable letting things live in the future plan because there's just no way, no possibility to do it all right now. And then what can go away altogether? And this one's so important because sometimes we carry something for so long just because we thought we should do it and it's been on our to-do list. We've talked about it. Maybe we even started it, but it actually doesn't matter anymore. And we never came back to ask, should I still even be working on this? So look at the list real hard, real honestly. What can go away? What can be deleted or scratched off or crossed out? What are you no longer going to do? Is there anything you can delegate? Anything you've outgrown or just are no longer interested in? What sounded super important before that just doesn't matter anymore? What could disappear from the list altogether without really any consequences? You are allowed to ungoal as much as you create goals. The third step is moving those real priorities and what we just decided matter most, and what we didn't remove, moving that to real life. This is where you actually add it to the calendar, actually add it to your planning system, your to-do list, your planner, whatever you use to organize your day-to-day life. And be specific. If you need to make a phone call, it might be a 15-minute block on the calendar. If you need to write something, put time on the calendar, detail out in the description what exactly you need to write out. Add the links, add the screenshots, add the documents, add everything you need into the calendar invite to make that task for future you so easy to show up and execute. The easier it is, the less likely you are to avoid it. And if any of it needs prior tasks, preparation, anything beforehand, schedule that first. If you need to organize the garage, but first you need a tool, order that tool first and schedule the garage organization after you know that tool will arrive. If you have an appointment on Friday, if you have paperwork to fill out for it, schedule that paperwork for Wednesday, have the calendar appointment set for Friday. Whatever you might possibly need to do, if you're going to create a YouTube channel but you don't know how to use YouTube, schedule time days before it to research creating a YouTube channel. Otherwise, the task itself gets drowned out in the preparation, and then guess what? We procrastinate again and it still doesn't get done, and we continue to lose sleep over it. And wherever you're putting all of this, your planner, your calendar, I said it already, but I'm going to say it again. It has to be checked daily. It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter how. You get to decide what works for you and your energy, but check it regularly because you could build the perfect and most beautiful and exquisite system, but if you don't follow it, it doesn't matter. Create the system and place for yourself that you can trust and trust yourself to use it and use it well. And the more you trust that system and trust yourself, the less your brain will continue screaming at you and the less you'll feel overwhelmed. And there's something that can happen through this process that I want to address ahead of time. And it's what to do when we don't finish everything we planned. Because this is real life. Things happen, things come up, life happens, and it will continue to. Sometimes things come up and disrupt us and distract us and interrupt our plan. Other times we just over or underestimate our own capacity. Sometimes things just take longer than we thought. Sometimes someone needs us. Sometimes something unexpected comes up. Sometimes your energy just isn't there. It's different than what you thought it would be when you set the time. And sometimes you just don't get to doing the thing. And if you still want or need to do the task or project, move it. Don't be afraid of this. I know a lot of times we talk about making our plan and sticking to it, and I'm a big believer of that. And there are times to just drag and drop something to tomorrow and have grace with ourselves. Move it to Friday. Move it to next week, but do it consciously. Do it intentionally because you're learning and gauging what you're capable of, not because you're slacking, not because you're lazy or anything is wrong with you. Move it because you're human and you're adjusting and you're not dropping the ball. That is you being on top of it. There's a huge difference between endlessly avoiding something and moving it continuously and never getting to it, and just adjusting it once or twice and still getting it done. Adjusting to reality. I want you to understand the difference. And the more you see those things get done and get completed because you didn't drop the ball, and it doesn't have to keep spinning those circles in your brain, the more you will trust yourself. And the overwhelm does come back. I hate to say it, there's no one cure, one perfect plan that just dissipates overwhelm forever. We have to continue choosing against it. We have to continue coming back just like the overwhelm comes back. New things, new problems, new obstacles are coming up all the time. New emails, new ideas, new responsibilities, new requests, new challenges. So that means this exercise, this episode is not a one-time deal. It's maintenance. Maybe you start with a bigger brain dump now and then maintain that once a month, once a quarter, once a week, right? Maybe you have mini ones every single week with yourself, Friday night, Saturday morning, Sunday night. Plan for the week ahead. Look at what needs to be done. Organize your calendar, feel prepared. And then each morning, take a glance at that calendar, at that planner. What's ahead? What have I got going today? You'll feel so much at ease. You'll feel so much more at ease. And you get to decide which rhythm works best for you in your life. But the things to stay constant is having that one place to capture and having a routine to keep coming back to it and keep reviewing it. And wherever you have as that place to capture things, if throughout the week you have things pop up, just throw it on that same place on that list and come back to it later. That way you're not dropping anything and you have the system to come back to. And then the brain dumps themselves feel a lot easier too, because half the things you had to remember for the week are already thrown onto the list. Past you already took care of you, and you can sit down and go through the list, add what else has come up, and take it from there. So, If you clicked on this episode feeling like you have 100 tabs open in your brain and you don't even know which one's making noise anymore because they're all talking over each other, here's what I want you to do first. Don't try to fix it all overnight. Get that pen and paper if you haven't already. Write down everything you're carrying. Keep asking what else until it's all out of your system. Give that big, beautiful brain of yours a break. And then look at it. What needs a date? What needs an actual action to take? How do I make it more tangible? What can wait? And what can go away? Move what matters most onto your actual planner or calendar or daily to-do list. And then let the master list hold the rest. You don't need to do it all at once. You don't need to do it all today, this week, this month, or even this year. You have your whole life to live, your whole life. And all your ideas and tasks and to-dos and projects can live in one master list, and you just got to know where that lives so you can come back to it, not so you can live in it 24/7. So much of our overwhelm comes from feeling like we need to handle it all right away, right at once, all together, but it doesn't. There might be a lot going on, yes. That can be true a lot of the times. Our world and our lives are busier than ever, than our brains were ever designed to carry. And there may truly be more on your plate than you wish there was. And there might be things you just can't change. Maybe you just can't change it right now, or maybe you can never change it. But you absolutely can create structure around all of it. You can get it out of your head and onto paper. You can decide what matters most now. You can let some things wait or let it go altogether. You can change your mind whenever you want. And you can just take on the next thing right in front of you instead of trying to carry the entire future all in one moment. So if you're overwhelmed, my friend, start here. Get it all out. Put it somewhere you can trust. Choose what matters. And then go do the next thing. I know you can do it. Just one thing. And then the next. And your confidence will grow. Your self-trust will grow. You will move through this. The day will move on. The week will move on. And you're going to keep moving with it.
Thank you for braving the inside of your mind with me. The better we understand ourselves, the more deeply we understand the world, and as our awareness grows, life just gets better and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a review and share this with anyone else you think could benefit from listening. A quick reminder that the content shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, and the discussions here are not a substitute for professional advice. If you're dealing with a specific issue or need personalized guidance, please consult with a qualified professional. Your well-being is important, and this podcast is simply a platform for sharing insights and experiences. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Until next time.